I adjusted my designer suit in the mirror of the elevator as it climbed to the top floor of Sterling Industries headquarters. The Italian silk felt foreign against my skin, a far cry from the rough cotton uniform I'd worn in this same elevator 7 years ago. Back then, I was just Miguel Santos, the night janitor who cleaned these halls after everyone had gone home. Now I was Miguel Santos, CEO of Phoenix Ventures, about to attend Sterling Industries' annual corporate gala. The irony wasn't lost on me. The elevator doors opened to reveal a transformed penthouse office space. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over the crowd of executives in their finest attire. The air hummed with classical music and pretentious conversation about golf courses and summer homes. "Your invitation, sir," a young woman at the entrance asked politely. I handed her my embossed invitation, watching her eyes widen slightly at the Phoenix Ventures logo. Our company had been making waves in the business world lately, though few knew who actually owned it. "Welcome, Mr. Santos," she said, her tone notably more respectful. "Mr. Sterling has been expecting you." Of course he had. William Sterling II, CEO of Sterling Industries, had been trying to arrange a meeting with Phoenix Ventures' mysterious CEO for months. What he didn't know was that we'd met before, usually when I was emptying his trash can late at night while he ignored my existence. I made my way through the crowd, picking up snippets of conversation. The company's stock was down. Profit margins were shrinking. Rumors of a hostile takeover were spreading. I smiled to myself, knowing just how true those rumors were. "Miguel? Miguel Santos? Is that really you?" I turned to find Linda from HR staring at me in disbelief. She had always been one of the few who actually bothered to learn my name during my janitor days. "Hello, Linda," I smiled warmly. "It's been a while. I'll say, when you left, I thought, well, we all assumed you'd taken another custodial position somewhere else." "Life had different plans," I replied simply. Before she could ask more questions, a hush fell over the crowd. William Sterling II had arrived, commanding attention as he always did. He was shorter than I remembered, or maybe I just stood taller these days. "Welcome, everyone," his voice boomed across the room. "Sterling Industries has been a pillar of excellence for 3 generations, and tonight we celebrate another year of success." The slight pause before success was telling. Sterling Industries was in trouble, and everyone knew it. That's why I was here. Sterling worked the room like the seasoned CEO he was, shaking hands and laughing at jokes that weren't funny. When he reached me, Linda made the introduction. "Mr. Sterling, this is Miguel Santos from Phoenix Ventures." Sterling's perfectly practiced smile didn't waver, but his eyes narrowed slightly. "Santos? That name sounds familiar." "It should," I replied calmly. "I worked here for 5 years." "Oh," he took a sip of his champagne. "In which department?" "Maintenance. I was your night janitor." The champagne caught in his throat. Several nearby conversations stopped as people turned to stare. Sterling's face flushed red, whether from embarrassment or anger, I couldn't tell. "A janitor?" He forced a laugh. "Well, isn't that interesting? And now you're what? An assistant at Phoenix Ventures?" "Actually, I'm still cleaning floors." He cut me off, his voice dripping with condescension. Though I suppose the corporate world could be considered a step up from bathroom duty. The surrounding executives chuckled nervously. Sterling was known for his cruel humor, especially when he felt threatened. I'd witnessed it countless times while quietly cleaning his office late at night. I smiled, remembering all those nights I'd spent studying business textbooks between cleaning tasks, taking online courses while on my breaks, and carefully observing how this company was run, or rather, misrun. "You know, Mr. Sterling," I said quietly, "I learned a lot while cleaning these floors. For instance, I learned that your company's profit margins have been declining for the past 5 years. That your attempted expansion into Asian markets was a costly failure. That your own board members have been quietly selling their shares." The color drained from his face. These were things only someone with intimate knowledge of the company would know. Things I had discovered during countless nights of cleaning offices, emptying trash bins filled with confidential documents, and overhearing late-night conversations while invisible in my janitor's uniform. "Who exactly are you?" Sterling demanded, his voice losing its smooth confidence. "Tomorrow morning, I'll be joining your board meeting," I replied, setting down my untouched champagne. "I think it's time we discuss the future of Sterling Industries." His eyes widened as realization dawned. You're the CEO of Phoenix Ventures. Times change, Mr. Sterling. Sometimes the guy cleaning your floors today might be buying your company tomorrow. I turned and walked away, leaving him sputtering behind me. As I waited for the elevator, I could feel the weight of hundreds of eyes on my back, the whispers already starting to spread through the party. The same elevator attendant who had ignored me for years now straightened up and gave me a respectful nod. "Good evening, Mr. Santos." "Good evening, Thomas," I replied, using his name just as I had when I was a janitor. He looked surprised that I remembered it. As the elevator descended, I thought about tomorrow's board meeting. In my briefcase were documents that would change everything: proof of Sterling's mismanagement, details of the company's vulnerability, and most importantly, evidence of Phoenix Ventures' controlling interest in Sterling Industries. Tomorrow, William Sterling II would learn what it felt like to be invisible. But first, I had one more stop to make. Before heading home at night, I drove to a small apartment complex on the outskirts of the city. The building wasn't much to look at, but it held a special place in my heart. 7 years ago, I lived in Unit 4B, studying by candlelight when I couldn't afford electricity. Now, I owned the entire building, and my old apartment was home to another night janitor, a young woman named Sophia who reminded me of myself. She was working her way through business school, just as I had. "Mr. Santos," Sophia exclaimed when she opened the door. "I wasn't expecting you tonight. Just checking in." I smiled, handing her a thick envelope. "Your tuition for next semester, and please, it's still Miguel." Her eyes welled up with tears. "I don't know how to thank you. Just promise me one thing," I said. "When you make it to the top, remember what it was like at the bottom." Back in my penthouse apartment, I spent hours reviewing the documents for tomorrow's board meeting. The story they told was clear. Sterling Industries, once a titan of industry, had been hemorrhaging money for years under William Sterling II's leadership. While he'd been hosting lavish parties and buying private islands, the company had been dying a slow death. The only reason it hadn't collapsed entirely was because of the dedicated middle managers and workers who kept things running despite their CEO's incompetence. I knew because I'd been watching it all unfold, invisible in my janitor's uniform. The next morning, I arrived at Sterling Industries headquarters an hour early. The security guard did a double take when I walked through the main entrance rather than the service entrance I'd used for years. The boardroom was empty when I arrived, so I took the opportunity to walk around, remembering all the nights I'd spent cleaning this room. How many times had I wiped down this very table while dreaming of sitting at it? How many coffee stains had I scrubbed from this carpet while listening to earnings calls playing on my earbuds, teaching myself about corporate finance? Gradually, board members began to arrive. Most ignored me, assuming I was part of the support staff. A few gave me curious glances, probably wondering about the rumors from last night's party. William Sterling II was the last to enter, 15 minutes late as usual. He stopped short when he saw me sitting in his chair at the head of the table. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his face already turning red. "Security." "Please, Mr. Sterling," I said calmly. "Take a seat. We have a lot to discuss." I will not be ordered around in my own boardroom by a janitor. One of the board members, an elderly woman named Mrs. Chen, cleared her throat. "William, I believe you should sit down. Mr. Santos represents Phoenix Ventures, which now owns a controlling interest in Sterling Industries." Sterling's face went from red to white. "That's impossible. We would have known." "Would you?" I opened my briefcase and began distributing documents. "Your company's stock has been undervalued for years due to mismanagement. Phoenix Ventures has been quietly acquiring shares through various subsidiaries for the past 18 months. The board members began flipping through the papers, their expressions growing increasingly grave. "As you can see," I continued, "Phoenix Ventures now owns 51% of Sterling Industries. We also hold a significant portion of your company's debt, which you've been struggling to service." Sterling collapsed into a chair, his carefully maintained facade crumbling. How did you do this?" "I learned everything I needed to know about this company while cleaning its floors," I replied. "I saw the warning signs years ago. The declining profits, the failed projects, the growing debt. While you were busy holding parties and buying yachts, I was building my own company, preparing for this moment." I stood up and began walking around the table, just as Sterling had done countless times while I cleaned around him. Did you know that every night your cleaning staff has to empty 3 different trash bins in your office because you can't be bothered to use just one? That you've gone through 4 different executive assistants this year alone because of your temper? That your own employees have a betting pool on when the company will go bankrupt? The board members exchanged uncomfortable glances. These were things everyone knew but no one discussed. The night cleaning staff sees everything, I continued. We're invisible to people like you, which makes us the perfect observers. We know who stays late to actually get work done. We know who treats people with respect regardless of their position. We know who's really keeping this company alive. I pulled out another set of documents, which is why I've prepared a comprehensive restructuring plan. Sterling Industries doesn't need to fail. It just needs proper leadership. For the next hour, I outlined my plan for the company. The board members listened intently, asking thoughtful questions and taking notes. Sterling sat in silence, his world crumbling around him. This is outrageous, he finally exploded. I am William Sterling, I lie. This company bears my name. The company bears your grandfather's name, I corrected him. A man who built it from nothing, just like I built Phoenix Ventures. You inherited everything and nearly destroyed it. Mrs. Chen spoke up. I moved to vote on the restructuring plan and the proposed change in leadership. One by one, the board members voted. The result was unanimous, except for Sterling's vote, which no longer mattered anyway. You can't do this to me, Sterling whispered, his voice breaking. This company is all I have. No, Mr. Sterling, this company is all you had. While you were busy looking down on people like me, you forgot the most important lesson in business. Respect everyone, because you never know who they might become. Security arrived to escort Sterling from the building. As he passed me, he paused. I don't understand. You were just a janitor. There's no such thing as just a janitor, Mr. Sterling. Every person has value, whether they're cleaning floors or running companies. You might have learned that if you'd ever bothered to learn my name. After he left, I turned to address the board. Now let's talk about the future of Sterling Industries. First order of business. We're establishing an education fund for all employees, from maintenance staff to executives. Everyone deserves a chance to grow. The transformation of Sterling Industries began immediately. We cut excessive executive perks and redirected the money into employee development programs. We promoted people based on merit rather than connections. We made sure every employee, regardless of position, was treated with respect. 6 months later, I stood in my old custodial closet, now being converted into a small break room for the maintenance staff. The mop and bucket I'd used for 5 years were still there. Should we throw these out? Sophia asked. She'd recently graduated and was now working in our finance department, though she still helped clean occasionally to support her replacement. No, I replied. Let's keep them as a reminder. Success isn't about where you start, it's about how hard you're willing to work to reach your dreams. William Sterling IE now works as a consultant for small businesses. Last I heard, he's learning some valuable lessons about humility. His grandfather's company, now called Phoenix Sterling Industries, is thriving under new leadership that understands the value of every employee. As for me, I still visit the night cleaning staff regularly. I know all their names, their stories, their dreams. 3 of them are currently in college, supported by our employee education program. 2 more are taking coding classes. 1 is working on a business plan. Yesterday, I received an invitation to speak at business school about my journey from janitor to CEO. The topic they suggested was the extraordinary rise of Miguel Santos. But I plan to talk about something else. There's no such thing as an ordinary job. Whether you're cleaning floors or running companies, success comes from respecting others and believing in yourself. Sometimes the person you ignore today might be signing your severance package tomorrow. Every morning, I keep my old janitor's uniform hanging in my office as a reminder, not of where I came from, but of all the invisible people who keep our world running while others look right through them. And every night, before I leave the office, I make sure to clean my own trash bin and leave a thank you note for the cleaning staff. Because I remember what it was like to be invisible, and I promised myself I would never let anyone else feel that way in my company. The story of how I bought Sterling Industries made headlines in the business world. Some called it a brilliant strategic takeover. Others called it poetic justice. But for me, it was simply fulfilling a promise I made to myself years ago while scrubbing floors. Success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Last week, I hired a new night janitor. During the interview, he mentioned he's taking online business classes. I smiled and shared a story about a young man who once cleaned these same floors while dreaming of something bigger. Then I handed him a key to the executive floor and said, "Dream big, work hard, and remember, there's no such thing as just a janitor." The look in his eyes reminded me of myself 7 years ago when I was invisible to everyone except myself. Sometimes that's all you need, to believe in yourself when no one else does. Now, when I walk through the halls of Phoenix Sterling Industries late at night, I make sure to stop and talk with every member of our cleaning staff. I know their names, their stories, their dreams. Because somewhere out there, another Miguel Santos is cleaning floors and dreaming of boardrooms. And this time, someone sees them.